Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Van Salem.
We are recording on a Sunday afternoon because Cody is going to be at tomorrow's game at Hilton. First of all, we're going to talk about the women's basketball team today because today at Hilton, the women get a huge win over K State. Cody, tell us what happened in that game.
Yep. So the Twister sisters hosted Kansas State, and this Kansas State team isn't particularly good this year. They obviously graduated Iowa Lee, so they've been around 500 the whole year, but they did come off of two straight games, and Iowa State was hosting them in what was a pretty important game, I think, for like both in terms of like kind of like tournament standings, whatever, because
Mhm.
Iowa State needed it in order to hopefully get a better seed. I don't know about like hosting a game, but you want to get those wins just so that way. Like this was one of the games where like it's winnable. Like it's winnable, but it's like there's a sense of desperation because you
Right.
need to like really like win out to really feel good about like your season. And Iowa State was able to do that. They won this game 76-72, led by Jada Williams' 22 points, and she was perfect from the free throw line. And late in the game, I think Kansas State cut the lead down to one or two. Kenzie Hare hits a crucial three, and then Jada Williams has four straight free throws, goes 4 for 4 to ice the game, and this was a pretty good day for her. She also had 9 assists, so kind of short of a double double. Audie Crooks continues her streak of scoring at least double digit points with 20, and she also contributed 9 rebounds. Ariana Jackson came on as like a good number three with 11.6 rebounds, and Kenzie Hare has finally seen a couple threes hit. I've been waiting for that for her, and it's like kind of for her confidence. So she knocks down a couple threes and contributes 9 points. So this was an all around effort. The ladies go 89% from the free throw line, which was definitely crucial down the stretch. And this was back and forth, but man, one thing that really like ticked me off about being at this game was the foul calls. Like there were, I'm looking right now, there were in total 47 fouls called in this game, including a technical foul on Sydney Harris. Yeah,
What?
I'm not joking with you. They called 47 total fouls, including a technical.
I swear the refing has been horrible this year.
And there were legitimately moments where like it just felt like they didn't want to call anything against Kansas State because there were moments of time where Iowa State would get called for something, and then you see on the other end probably the same thing. I think there was just a sequence where they don't call a foul, and yeah, this is the technical. So this is like Sydney Harris is driving. She disputes like I think she get like she's looking like she wants a foul, and I think maybe in her case she's right. So I didn't get the angle because I was sitting the other side of when it happened, but they didn't call a foul there. Then she gets a technical, and then Kansas State hits a three. And I think there was just so many fouls this game. I can't even tell you just how bad it was. Just bad overall. Like it was ridiculous. So I was getting into the game, but then I couldn't really because of these fouls. It was just ridiculous. And there were points in time where I thought Kansas State was going to call for a foul, but no. And then there was one like at the end of the game or towards the end that I thought was going to be called on Kansas State, but they somehow called it on Iowa State. Either that or there was something to do with like a 10-second violation where I'll tell you this right now. There were literally so Kansas State's doing a press, and there were two girls in Jada Williams' cylinder, and she's like trying to call a timeout, but the refs don't pick it up for like 5 seconds. It's almost a 10-second violation on Iowa State because of it. It was just ridiculous. I was like, I have not seen it like in person that bad. I've watched it in like on like streaming or whatever, like this bad officiating, but I have not witnessed it in person like that. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, it's crucial that they were able to hit their free throws down the
Yeah, there was
stretch.
a point in time where I told my friends at like they're lucky that Hilton like Iowa State doesn't sell beer because I told them if I like done a drinking game for taking a sip every time a foul was called, I would have been blackout drunk by the end of the first half.
Right.
I might have had to go to the ER or something. Dear God, that's horrible. But this was like at the end of the day, Iowa State gets a win, and this was like a pretty important game too because this was the pink out game, so it's like raising awareness for like breast cancer or whatever. So really, just a really all around like The theme was like great, and like the Iowa State fans did a great job with all like the paint that I saw, and like it's for a great cause too. So I'm glad like they Iowa State does that for the like one game a year for women's basketball, and they got the win. So yeah, Iowa State moves to 20-6 on the year. They are 8-6, and they host Arizona State on Wednesday.
All right, so make sure Cyclones fans to pack the place at Hilton
All I
on
know was my buddy like
Wednesday.
tweeted. Yep. Yeah, it was like national. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I just remembered. This is going to be National Girls and Women's in Sports Day, so that's the theme. And let's say I don't know, maybe one of my buddies is going to dress in a suit because Molly Miller is coaching Arizona State, and if you know, you know.
Yeah, I figured that there's going to be a lot of men at that game. So,
Let me. I'm gonna guess I might maybe throw shade. Do you think
oh, the
any
frat
guys from?
bros are going to be out in
Uh,
full force, dude.
yeah. Do you think there's gonna be any guys from Sig?
Probably,
Sorry,
probably.
I had to throw that in. But I'm like, yeah. But yeah, so the women get a great win, and now they get ready for Arizona State on Wednesday. And speaking on Iowa State, this was day two of day three, this crazy weekend. But we got to talk about like the yesterday because that in itself was even crazy. Yep, as there Iowa State getting piss pounded in Lawrence about a month ago. They returned the favor as they beat Kansas 74 is like yeah 74 to 56. uh yes, people, if you want to know, Darren Peterson did in fact play in this game. He didn't wuss out like he did against Arizona.
No, he didn't. What did happen though? He did get shut down. He got shut down by the Cyclones. Let's look deeper into that, and we're gonna take a look at the box score. Um, Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go then look back at the team stats. So here we are. Floyd Badunga had a double double, but honestly, if you really look at this game, he was basically held at bay for the entire game. Bryson Tiller went 8-5, but he also had four turnovers. Melvin Council was had 15-5, but he also had four turnovers. Honestly, from the start and from the get go, Iowa State basically uh handled just handled it like they were forcing turnovers from the start, dude. It was beautiful to watch. Like a lot of the stuff that we talked about in, I believe, what was it, Thursday show or Thursday or Friday show
Yeah,
or whenever we
Thursday.
recorded, it happened.
Yeah. What we asked for is I mean I think Bill self probably said it best or something. It was in the press conference, but it had to relate to just the fact that yeah, we pummeled them in Lawrence, they pummeled us in Ames, and that's a weird thing too that I've noticed too in these last like couple of years. Whenever Iowa State travels to Lawrence to Allen Fieldhouse, Kansas piss pounds us. Whenever Kansas travels to Ames at Hilton Coliseum, we piss pound them. It's so
And
it's a
yeah,
weird thing, but like
it's such a weird thing. And then like just the discourse from
Kansas.
basically from the Kansas Twitter fan base, basically with them being upset basically that now we expect to beat them now. Like
It-
expectations change now. Like it's this is not the same old Iowa State that's gonna rush the court on you. We have bigger fish to fry now. Like
yeah,
yeah, beating KU it was just like during football when beating Iowa was the only thing that mattered because we knew that we were gonna suck in conference season. But now we're at a place so like where with TJ Otzelberger, we've made it to three Sweet 16s in the first 5 years of his tenure. Um,
and,
like expectations raise.
yeah, and and also like the notion of like it like historically, yes, it's not a rivalry, but as of recent, yes, it is. And like you
Yeah,
mentioned the bigger fish to fry, like I would say it's bigger fish to fry, not just metaphorically, but literally, because we also bring in Houston tomorrow, which we'll talk about later. But then Iowa State also has to travel to Tucson to take on Arizona, and we'll get to them when we talk about like the Big 12 as a whole. But I need to just show you that, like, so we know how like we talk about like Milan Momchilo, like Milan Momchilovich in like this game.
yeah.
This shot right here is just a summarization of
Oh
everything.
my goodness, yes.
That that
Oh,
that
I
right
I
there.
still can't believe that. That is a thing of beauty.
Yeah. I I don't like you don't understand just how crazy that shot is. Like we know the shot making of Milo Matilovic, but that right there, that just reminded me so much of the shot that like he had against Houston. And then the I think the men's basketball team, they come out with just the most beautiful photo I think I've ever seen. Look at this. Look at this masterpiece.
Oh, that
We always like to
is
talk about like hanging certain things in the Louvre. This you need to literally hang in
hang
the
that
Louvre.
in the Louvre. Yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, some of us are literally doing like full on analysis of every single piece. Like we go from left to right if you're watching on the street, but if you're not, we're just explaining. So you got Eric Mulder sitting on the bench. He's at the far left end of the picture. He's looking at looks to be the ball. You got a student manager next to him looking at the ball. The assistant coach Deontay Garrett, he's looking at the ball. Dominic Nelson to his left is looking at Milan. Kay Kelderman, who's behind Milan, is looking at the ball. Xavier Mitchell is looking at Milan. Anthony Rise is looking at Milan. Mason Williams is looking at Milan. And Pete Link, the strength coach, he's looking at Milan. And then Milan is locked into the rim while he's leaning. What looks at this point to be probably perhaps falling to the lap of Anthony Rice. And then you have Floyd Badunga trying to get to it, but he cannot reach it. And that was pure. Like that shot was pure.
I don't even. I had no words. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Uh huh. Like I have like that right there. Just that was beautiful. Uh, but one guy I need to shout out to Blake Buchanan because I think he was one of the guys we talked about like who needed to like have an improved game. He did. He had such a good game and like this play too at the beginning. This was when Iowa State and Kansas. Like I think at this point Iowa State should have been down. We should have been down by double digits. We just were not getting shots up. But
Facts.
the defensive effort was paying off because we held Kansas to only 6 points, and this play is a part of it too. Which is
Mm.
mm,
And a
that right
lot of
there.
people don't understand on that play that like it's hard it's hard to like go after and get a putback dunk in there because you got to be like right behind there and time it just right.
Yeah.
Like it
I
takes
honestly
that amount
thought
of
that was
muscle.
yeah. I honestly thought that looked like part of me like when I watched it, I thought Taylor Lissy missed a shot, but then I got another angle of it, and I thought it looked like Taylor Lissy just lobbed it up for Blake Buchanan because that didn't look like he was going for a shot. I wonder if he was able to turn. He might have seen Blake, and he puts it up off the backboard, and Blake Buchanan just catches it.
So when I watched the highlights this morning, that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like it was more of an assist rather than a missed shot.
Yeah, I think Taman recognized that
Yeah.
Blake was trailing, so he just had to like, you know what, put war, and then yeah, that thing was beautiful. So, but yeah, I think so yeah, you had Taman Lipsy. He played a pretty good game. Yeah, Blake Buchanan as well had a nice game as well. Kind of got his. Talk about yeah, already mentioned Milan. Joshua Jefferson had a pretty good all around performance. He does his job. 11 points, five rebounds, 4 assists. Yeah, Taman with like 10 or 11 points. He had 2 of 6. So it's nice to see him knock down a couple threes. Kelly Torre even knocked down a three, which I think helped us open up things up. But we need to talk about Jamarian Bateman.
Man, like we were talking. I was talking about in the last podcast at the preview pod for the Kansas game that he needed to play more minutes. And you look at him. He had went 3 of 6 from three, 4 of 9 overall, and 11 points in 18 minutes. Man, he gave us some great minutes offensively and defensively. Just the fact that he's playing with that amount of confidence. And then let's also talk about Cody in the second half like when Taman and Joshua Jefferson were in foul trouble.
Yeah.
Dude, do you realize we had three freshmen on the floor at one point, and
Mm-hmm.
we basically kept the score steady.
Yeah. They
Like that's huge.
mm-hmm. Dominicus played a 19 minutes, kept Blake Buchanan fresh. Only had to play 22 minutes because Dom played. Yeah, I think that's where you get the best of Blake Buchanan is when he's fresh, when he doesn't have to play 30
Yes.
minutes, and that is where I think we've seen big strides of. Yeah, 3 offensive rebounds for Dominicus Plata because that helped us hugely.
Dude, he was banging inside too. On the defensive end, he got some deflection. Like he
Yeah,
is the king of deflections on
yeah.
Defense. Got a few
He even
blocks.
forced the turnover on Bryson Tiller when Bryson Tiller was trying to drive it.
Yeah,
And then on offense too, he had a nice spin move on Darren Peterson, and I think he got fouled by a Badunga. But dude, that spin move was beautiful from Dominicus
I'm
Plata.
telling you, man, he is growing up right before our eyes, and
Yeah,
don't be surprised if finds out something offensively,
yeah,
maybe during the Big 12 conference tournament, or maybe in these next few games, because he's coming along. These freshmen are coming along, man.
yeah, we need to talk about Demarion Bateman. We need to have a conversation here. Is he Curtis Jones 2.0? This is from this is a good friend of mine, Double Alta Cheeseburger. Look at this. It's like a mirror image.
Man, he might be. He might be.
He
He
does
might
about the
be, bro.
he's literally about the he does about the same thing. Come off the bench, give you a spark offensively, and gets heat checks like that. This is a freshman getting the heat check from able to have the green light from TJ to shoot that. I was like, what?
Well, we so like he's we see. I mean, TJ even said in the offseason that like yes, his offense will come along, and you're like, okay, we've been waiting for that to happen, but like now we're finally seeing the fruits of his labor come to fruition, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, just overall that was just great. Oh, man, if I had it right now, but there were some like really good meme images of Bill Self because I mean last year you had the infamous image of him looking very stressed on the bench, whatever. Bill Self is a gem. Like he knows he's living life, and I mean some of those like pictures I saw were just absolutely hilarious. Because you had the one last year where he was just like, oh, he's like stressed out, like he looked like me doing midterms. But here's another beautiful image that I have too, like that I've found. Just look at this. You see the turnovers too. Look at the turnover numbers, and you see Bill Self. What do I even? He's like, what do I even do? He's like, what do I even
He's
do?
so he's perplexed. He's like, bro, what? Like, I don't even know what to say right now.
Yeah, but there were also some like, oh wait, hold on. We gotta shout the guy out who like I was like in the second half, just had his shirt off, and he was like getting he got the swing
Ah, the
session
tarps
going.
off guy is a legend.
Look at this, this guy. I got this on video too, but this was great. Like he brought the energy. I'm glad we had someone
I
do this.
love it. I love it.
You know what's funny? One of his shirts, he had he had 2 shirts. So he had that black shirt in the video, and then he also had a gray shirt. He was waving around the gray shirt, and he lets go, and it accidentally lands like in front of the Kansas bench. Luckily, there was no one there, like they weren't sitting on the bench at that time, but it just lands all the way from where he's sitting to where the bench was. And I was like, how do you even get it all the way there? And I'm like, okay, oh, dude, that was so fun. But real quick, you know what? Who else was in the building too? Besides like some of the, like we have recruits there too, I believe. I gotta shout out like consecrated Ryan Hammer. He was there, and he was one of the guys. He won a lawnmower. That I
Man,
love his. I love Ryan Hammer's content. I don't know if you're gonna see this, but if you do, love you, man. I think I just saw you were on Let Him Cook, so love to have talk ball with you sometime. But yeah, he
Ryan Hammer, if you are watching, please come on to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I will message you. Me and Cody will message you after the show.
yeah.
We'd
But
love for you to come on.
he knows my face. I showed him like me camping out, so he knows my face for sure. And I got a photo with him too, so he already knows that.
Bro, tell
I
him to come on to this Selection
yeah
Sunday too.
I trust you to do that. But man, he hits that. He said here. He said I also want a tractor, a lawnmower, or something. Not sure if I have to drive back to New Jersey or something. Yeah, because he was also out there in the morning with home field apparel, and they were handing like so. This was like before the games. I'm going backwards basically in the timeline, but yeah, before the game, before they let everybody in, Ryan Harrick comes out. I think they were giving out like a lot of new energy drinks. They were giving like donuts. So like we had a big ass line going out waiting to get in, and oh man, was it worth it? You know. And also, I think this can lead me into like a little bit of a tangent I had, and like
Right.
obviously
Yeah.
I live tweeted this, so I'm a little more chilled. Like, but kind of how like they like have the students and all that with like the painted people. Now, I did speak to my like who I know in like marketing, and like somebody I knew within Cyclone Alley. They told me like I think they understood like it was a good idea in theory because like the marketing guy comes from Dayton. He comes from the Flyer, so they were trying to do something similar to that. I think we and my few buddies there were there. We told them it was a good idea in concept, but it just did not work out well because I mean, if you saw my timeline, like pregame, I was a bit furious. I was a bit heated, but
Hmm.
I've come around. I'm like, you know what? We told him, our guy Second Alley, hey, this is a good idea. Just fix some of these things, and then I think it'll be better. But you know what did get fixed though? The music choice. The music choice in there was beautiful, dude.
I heard it. I'm like, man, they must have either listened to the podcast or they saw our tweets, man.
Not just our tweets, everybody was tweeting. Like they probably heard us. Like they heard Iowa everywhere. Psycho Fanatic, like Jake Brand, Chris Williams, Chris Hassel, Matt Van Winkle. They heard everybody. So like
Hmm.
within like the Psycho fan base, everybody was talking about it. So like they had to have taken note of some like of the collective. It's like yeah, I'm glad they did this. And what I am hoping for, this continues to happen. Like obviously we'll get up for these big games, but I hope that it's like continues. But overall, that was just a really fun. That was just a fun game, and I mean, like you can't go wrong. Like you can't go wrong with a good like bounce back win after getting trounced in Lawrence to that same team with a good win at home, and you're now prepared. And I like the way the team handled the press conference. Like they knew they have bigger fish to fry. They like they were gonna enjoy it, but obviously they had to move like quick because they were gonna get film and whatever and prepare for Houston. Because man, Houston is going. We might as well talk about Houston now.
Yeah, let's
So
break it down.
yeah, so Houston, they we said this before, and we are proud to say it. Houston plays about identical defense as Iowa State. High
Hmm.
pressure ball, like high pressure at the top, like double teaming, and then just the way like their athleticism is like unmatched. Like that defensive effort wears you out. If you ever want to figure out what it's like playing Houston or Iowa State or vice versa, you play the other. So say you want to figure out what's like playing Houston, play Iowa State. You want to figure out what's like playing Iowa State? Play Houston.
Yes.
It's a mirror image of them. And Houston, I mean, they've got things going. Like they are 23-2. They are 11-1 in conference. They are winners of six straight, including win at number 16 BYU after coming off that loss at Texas Tech. So for me, yeah, Houston, they come to this game, and I'm expecting this to be what it was like to play them 2 years ago when they first walked in Home Coliseum. I've also heard like this fun fact that people talk about in the 17 arenas that Big 12 teams play in. Houston has won in 16 of those 17. We're including T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. So out of all the arenas Big 12 plays in, only one arena Houston has not won in. You want to name that?
And that is Hilton Coliseum.
Exactly. Granted, that they've only played us once, but still, that's just a fun fact to just tell somebody that Iowa State is the only team where it has is the only home court in which Houston has not gone on the road and beaten Iowa State, like beating the team at. So looking at this game, I think this is just gonna like this is on Big Monday. This 8 p.m. tips, maybe a late tip off, so I wouldn't be surprised. Like I know it's Monday, but I may have a beer or two beforehand just to get
Might as
ready.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, extend the weekend if you will, but yeah, this
Yeah, get yourself sauced
look.
up before the game.
Like if we've seen the last couple of big Monday games for the Big 12, those are masterpieces. I'm expecting this to be an absolute masterpiece.
It's
I
gonna
just
come down to the wire, dude. Like every time. Like unfortunately, the good thing about this one is that like obviously we saw last year. We were who were we missing? We were missing Cujo, I think, and
yeah, Keyshawn.
Keyshawn in that game,
Yeah,
and like
I think I think we're missing somebody. I think we're missing those two, and then I don't know if we were missing a third for one game. I don't remember, but yeah,
nah, Milan came back.
yeah,
Milan
yeah,
was
yeah,
back already in
yeah.
that
But
game,
yeah,
but
it was Curtis and Keyshawn who were we were missing for that
but
game.
we valiantly fought in that game, and it really like but. Milos Uzan and Emmanuel Sharp were insane in that game. Like they were just hitting
They were hitting
like
everything.
back breaking threes. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like
It's like
it was
it got to a
absolutely
point. Yeah, it got to a point where like I can't even like. It's like what is he supposed to do outside of foul them?
yeah. I don't even know. I know I've been talking to a lot of Houston fans, and they said that they're absolutely excited. Um,
Yeah, like Houston has been like they've been so exciting. Like whenever Iowa State and Houston matches up, it always feels like a big time heavyweight fight between those two.
it is
They
like
they bring it, and I mean, yeah, looking to this Houston team, they've got one of the best freshmen in the country, Kingston Fleming.
yes,
I feel like Kingston
yes,
Fleming still doesn't even get talked about enough, even for the stuff that he's doing. Kingston Fleming's
yeah.
on,
We'll take
yeah,
a look at
Kingston
that.
Fleming's on the year. Yeah, 16 point, yeah, about 16 and a half points per game, three and a half rebounds, and 5 assists per game. He's shooting at 49% from the field. Yeah, this season, yeah, he's shooting 49% from the field, 36% from three, 84% from the free throw line, and he has been such an offensive spark like for Houston.
He sure has.
Yeah.
Especially with he scored what 47 against Texas Tech, right?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, he scored 40 in that game, even a loss. But against BYU, he had 19 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and then in their game against Kansas State, 12 points, uh, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. And then I think we also you mentioned Emmanuel Sharp. He's got 16 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists per game, and he had 23 points against the Wildcats.
Yeah. He was Manu Sharp has basically been a constant for this Houston Cougars team for the last 4 years.
Yeah,
So we'll look for him to be a guy. So let's with that we're gonna go into matchups. I
yeah,
think the matchup that I'm really looking forward to is Emmanuel Sharp on Milan Momcilovic
oh,
because these are the two top two scorers for each team,
yeah,
and Milan had a masterclass defensively against in his matchup against
yeah.
who was it, Bryson Tiller?
Yeah, Bryson Tiller. Yeah, and Bryson Tiller is he's like I think he's overachieved. Like I didn't expect much from him, but I was like I had no clue what Bryson Tiller was until like about like what was it in the knockouts just before the Iowa State game. Like I had no clue, but like this guy's okay. Wait, this guy's coming on. Like okay, and then he plays that game against Iowa State. Like he's a solid player, and then you saw some of his ability to take over. So for Milan to do that, and also Milan was able to switch on to Darren Peterson. He did a pretty good job as well defending him.
Sure did.
So that is a pretty good matchup to look out for. Just the two sharpshooters. If you get the right ideal conditions, you could turn Milan Momcilovic versus Emmanuel Sharp into a one-on-one three-point contest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, NBA like we had NBA All Star like weekend or whatever, and like that's a three-point contest I would love to just watch. Emmanuel Sharp and Milan Momcilovic, just those two going at it. Nobody else just have them go one-on-one, and I would be satisfied.
yeah.
Uh,
So that's one matchup I'm gonna look at, and then another matchup that's gonna be fun to watch is Joseph Tugler, the experienced big against the young one, Blake Buchanan, in the paint. That's where this game is going to be won. Every time Houston and Iowa State play, this game is always won on the boards.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So obviously, yeah, JoJo Tugler, like he honestly he didn't even have that like he didn't play that much, but no, I'd still be excited. But like, there's another one too. Speaking of like forwards, Chris Senick Jr. That's that could probably be a fun match. Like that's gonna be interesting to see Chris Senick versus Buchanan or even Dom Plata. Like overall, the bigs for both Houston and Iowa State, that's where you're gonna win it. Whether it's
Yes.
getting offensive boards, like finishing possessions, finishing through finishing through contact. Because I said this. I think I said this to you in a reply from one of your tweets. I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if this Houston Iowa State game turned into Monday Night Raw's war.
Yeah. It's
It's
gonna be
about
it's yeah, it's gonna be a Stone Cold. It's gonna be a Stone Cold versus The Rock wrestling match, man.
but
That's exactly what it's gonna
but
be.
it's but dude, that's that gif of like listen, I just know immediately this thing could turn into like I also think that too. This thing could turn into a UFC fight night. I
Right.
wouldn't be surprised. To whoever is officiating this game, good luck.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not as bad as it was on Saturday, where it's just like when you got just breathe on, it was a foul.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, yeah, this is exciting. Like Iowa State's a 1.5 point favorite, so this is almost a pick 'em. And
Yes.
I think also, yeah. So somewhere I think it's gonna be underrated. It will be like kind of the guard play. How does I mean, is Torrey Bateman Heisey is Heisey able to like because he hit a pretty crucial three when Kansas was trying to cut into the lead when he got down to 12. He hit a big one to
Mm-hmm.
make it 15. So you can get clutch shots like that, and the defensive effort. That's gonna be like you're gonna just see two defenses just going at each other. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing is in like the 50s or 60s.
I honestly think that this game is going to be played in the 60s.
Yep.
These are like two of the top five teams in the nation right here. So it's gonna come down to who can make timely shots, and I think this has got to be a game where, like, luckily we weren't in position to, but like we were making our free throws earlier in the game on Saturday, but then we started missing them at the end. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh boy. That's just something that I'm worried about. Not to be not I'm to be honest.
Yep.
Like it hasn't bitten us in the butt yet, but I think it will later on down the line.
I
But
mean, the free throw thing, like I know, like obviously that's one of the criticisms I have. I would say the free throws, yeah, we've seen that bite us in the ass, and it almost like, and it could have in the game against Kansas, but our defense efforts just, I think, as long as like Iowa State's able to have that defensive effort they put against Kansas, they do that consistently, um, and we're able to get good shots in like the edge line, obviously. So that is
yeah,
going to be something to look at. But yeah, I need. So I mean, Houston, Iowa State, we expect that thing to be cinema. It's going to be 50s to six, like somewhere in the 50s to 60s, and I don't think I want to talk too much more because like obviously the game's tomorrow, so I don't want to age anything. So um,
yeah.
what I can talk about though is what this bull crap was from Darren Peterson. I think I brought him up earlier. This, you remember seeing this?
Oh yeah.
This profile picture, like he changed this. This was like before the Iowa State game, and he chose Michael Myers. The problem I had with that was like it was Friday the 13th, and you could have chosen Jason Voorhees. That would have been perfect. But you like respectfully, Michael Myers, like those two are like movie like icons. That's are two things that are iconic in movies. But I think you missed the mark there. Like you could have gone Jason Voorhees. It would have been absolutely perfect. But it didn't matter though because you played 23 minutes. You only got 10 points. You got locked up by Killian Torrey. You got French press coffee by him. And then Nate Heisey remembered his sister was playing hockey, and he decided to play defense like he was playing hockey too.
Yeah. It was a fun time, and the meltdown, and they're still talking about it
Dude,
even today.
yeah. What is crazy is like they call us like talking about like us booing every like foul call or whatever. I'm like, wait, don't y'all do the same?
Yes, they exactly do the same thing. It's the arrogance of KU fans that everybody hates.
Yeah, they just can't accept the fact that like Iowa State can actually tune it like come into this like game and not just lay down and get their ass handed to them.
Because we should just bow down to KU. Not anymore.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. This ain't your daddy's KU anymore.
right. All right, Cody. We there was a hell of a day in Big 12 basketball and in national. So now we're gonna go into our segment and take a look across the Big 12.
Yeah, the Big 12. There was a lot of things that happened in this conference, but we need to talk about like the major thing that happened in this game over the weekend. Texas Tech goes into the McHale Center, and beat Arizona 78 to 75 to hand Arizona back to back losses. And this was JT Toppin. Like this was JT Toppin's game. 31 points and 13 rebounds.
Oh baby, this was a beautiful game to watch. Um, it like you said, like we always say in the show, it was cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the end, in near its regulation, it seems like Christian Anderson, he got reamed by
And
by their head coach by
Oh, the game. Yeah, for yeah. Wait. Now I think I know what you're talking about.
By
Give me a second.
McCaslin.
Yeah. Hold on. I think I know what you're talking about. I've got the play here. I can show like those who are watching. Yeah. So so it's tied 66 apiece. Texas Tech has the ball with about 9 seconds.
Into the final seconds of regulation. Got the switch. Awaka on Anderson. Anderson gets it off, and we are going to overtime.
Like I had no idea what he was doing there. Like they had a timeout too, which was the other puzzling part. You could have used a timeout and potentially call a different play or something. And I don't know. Like and yeah, McCaslam just like kind of ripped into him. Like
Yeah.
yeah, he was just ripping into him after that. But I mean, Christian Anderson, like outside of that, he had another nice game. 19 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. Yeah, versus JT Thomas, 31 points, 13 rebounds. They did get some like good contributions from Donovan Atwell and Lawan Watts, who are two guys that I think on if they can do their job and you let Christian Anderson and JT Toppin like do their thing, this is a team that can go in a deep run in March.
Not to mention Jalen Petty was in foul trouble the entire game, but Jalen Petty is also a guy that you can count on during the tournament. They can definitely make like they did last year. They made it all the way to the Elite Eight and were
Yeah.
minutes away from making it to the Final Four.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So Texas Tech, yeah, the game in overtime wins that. For Arizona, it's like you obviously dropped two straight, but I think the more concerning thing for them would have been the loss of Koa Pete in this game. So he goes down in the first half,
Yeah,
and he doesn't return. And I think
yeah,
this was
yeah.
a game where you needed Koa Pete badly. And unfortunately, yeah, that injury, it just kind of changed things for Arizona. But it wasn't without a fight for them because Braden Burris with 16 points, Jaden Briley with 11, and there was a right at the end of overtime, he has a three that looks decent. Like he got his feet set, and it looked decent, but man, if that would have went down double overtime, and I think Arizona's the momentum. But then you also had Tobe Awaka with 16 points and 12 rebounds. So Arizona was doing everything they can, but I mean, you shoot 25% from three. Granted, this isn't like Arizona's game. They don't really shoot that many threes, but still, you shoot 25% from three, you're not going to win many games.
Sure.
So Arizona, they've dropped two straight now. I would presume, like, I mean, I don't think this is the end of this is the thing with the Big 12. You get one bad week, and with the way the Big 12 is, you just can't afford one bad week. Iowa State, we experienced it firsthand. We lost at Kansas and at Cincinnati, and it took a lot for us to rebuild to get to back to this spot. But Arizona, I think they're fine. They do gotta like kind of flush that game because they do host the BYU, and then they got to go at Houston on Saturday.
Man, what a hellacious schedule for Arizona. We talked about have been talking about this for weeks now. Now they're in the middle of it. They've lost two in
Yeah,
a row. We'll see if they can get back on
yeah,
the schneid as they play Arizona this
hmm
week.
yeah. And the thing, yeah,
Or I
Arizona,
mean BYU. Sorry.
yeah, BYU. That's going to be on the 18th and the 21st. And then I forgot to mention also they got to host Kansas and Iowa State in back-to-back games at McHale. But you do get that boost of being able to host those two. So yeah, that could be huge. So we'll see where Arizona is, but I don't think you hit the panic button on them yet. One
No,
team that
not
I
yet.
would definitely consider hitting the panic button for is BYU. They lose Richie
Oh
Summers
no,
45 seconds into the game, and this was a
that's
very tight game.
horrible.
I did see earlier. He was out with an ACL, so that does suck. If you're BYU, you couldn't afford that. You can't afford that with the way this team is built. Granted, you got like a really good performance out of Robert Wright. This was probably his best game of the year. 39 points, 11 to 13 for the free throw line. But I don't know if you're the team at BYU, they don't really have a deep bench. If this thing is like for extended period of time, like it could be potentially, then I don't know. I'd be a little bit concerned about BYU and kind of like where their seeding would be because some people like could probably see them dropping like a 5 or a 6 seed, but that could potentially be tough. But yeah,
Yeah.
about the game itself, Colorado got up for this. Like they got up for this game. Isaiah Johnson, 27 points, Barrington Hargress 20 points, Bang on Dak 15. So those three were doing. They kept like Colorado in the game, and then also had Ranchich 9 points and 10 rebounds, 6 assists. So he was stuff in the stat sheet. And he also had 3 steals in this game. So Colorado, like to their credit, they were fighting this game after what happened against Texas Tech. And I think Tad Boyle said it best. Like, I don't know. I don't remember the exact quote, but it was like, we played like horrible. We played like ass. And it's like probably like the way I could imagine him saying it. They got piss pounded in Lubbock. And
They sure did.
Yeah. So Colorado comes out and they show they can still be competitive. Like keeping it with BYU, forcing this game into overtime. Like imagine like you were like seeing like imagine before like obviously you saw like before the game happens. Imagine telling like somebody that Colorado BYU is going to be a 4-point victory for BYU. It's going to go to overtime, and Richie Saunders is going to go down.
Man.
Yeah. You also have to tell him Isaiah Johnson scores 27 points and Barrington Hargress puts up 20. Like just the thought of BYU Colorado being competitive before tip off, you would be like, what? But to Colorado's credit, they did challenge you. They did challenge BYU.
They sure did. What an effort from BYU as BYU prepares this week as your Cyclones will be going on the road on Saturday night to play in Provo at the Marriott Center against BYU.
Yeah, but they got to go to Arizona, and oh boy, I don't know if you don't want to have to get Arizona after like the 2 losses, but I mean, yeah, the Cole P situation is going to be a thing. But yeah, having to go to Arizona and then host Iowa State, good luck. Especially with Richie Saunders being out, because now Robert Wright is your number 2, because Agent Sebastian had 20 points, but he 20 points is like 13 rebounds, 8 assists isn't bad, but like I don't know if you can sustain this without somebody off the bench providing that third option.
I mean, they brought it. Look, this is. But hey, this is also why they paid them all this money to come to BYU to be the guys. So we're about to see if AJ DeBonta steps up and becomes the guy that BYU wants him to be.
For sure. Okay, so Baylor in a odd like non-con game, they lose to Louisville 82-71. I just think for this Baylor team, they have a great coach, they have great players. It just hasn't come together. I think this is what this Baylor season is. It just has not come together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they shot 2 of 22 from 3.
They did force 14 turnovers too. It's like that's the thing. It's just I don't know what it was, but they have not come together for Baylor.
Yeah, it's just an ugly year for them. Maybe they'll get it together next year.
Yeah. Maybe this is what my friend said. Maybe this is some people are thinking this is probably karma for getting James Najee.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the karma.
Heading to Stillwater, TCU off of getting the win against number 5 Iowa State, go to Stillwater and win it 95-92 in overtime against the Cowboys. I honestly wasn't able to really get to this, but kind of like I was able to catch a little bit of it, especially in overtime. But an all-around performance from TCU. So this TCU, like this game showed that TCU, they have things as they put it together, and maybe Iowa State woke them up and they realized, hey, we can actually be competitive in this conference. And how do we do that twice for team? How do we do that twice? First Kansas and now TCU. Are we just?
We're a giving program.
Yeah, because listen, we need more than the top 6 in the tournament. It boosts our reputation. So we're like, you know what? Here take this one.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, what an all-around performance from TCU. 6 guys in double digits. David Punch leads the way with 19. Jaden Pierre with 16. Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
Ah. I
Then he
love
had,
that.
yeah, Brock Harding and Xavier Edmonds contributed 15 each, and then Michael Robinson and Tanner Toolson, who comes off the bench with 11. So a pretty well-rounded game for TCU, and they needed it because Oklahoma State also brought their punches as well. No pun intended. Parsafala, 27 points in this game. I remember seeing him in Hilton. I'm like, okay, this guy's solid. This guy's a solid player, and he balled out in this game. You also had Anthony Roy with 16, Kanye Clary and Christian Coleman with 13 each, and then 12 from Jalen Curry. So both of these teams, they were playing desperate. Like they played desperate, like they're trying to save the tournament. And it certainly showed like it. So TCU gets a big win, and I think for them, if they can string games like this, their schedule is doable because the only ranked team they have left is Texas Tech in Lubbock. So if TCU can go 5-1 in this stretch, I think that you can put them. You can make a case for them because, like in the bubble, I think you can make a case for them, like to
You
be like
can't, yeah.
one of those like last four in type of teams or something. Yeah. So TCU is doing whatever they can to kind of like control what they can control and see where everything else falls. But at least you're doing something. So shout out to them.
Oh yeah, shout out to the Horned Frogs.
Yep. In Orlando, Florida, we had West Virginia take care of business against the Mid Florida Knights, 74-67. Honor Huff with 21 points. I mean, this another one was like I think maybe a little bit of a backbreaker for Mid Florida because this like they've dropped 3 straight, which is crazy. I think we were talking about them a couple weeks ago. It's like being a solid like 7 team to make the tournament from the Big 12. But man, 3 straight, including getting your backs broken in Cincinnati. That stings. That has to sting.
I mean, you look at us at a point in the second half, and you see that UCF was up by 14 at one point, all the way early in the second half,
Yeah,
just for them to give it up.
yeah, you got to
That's
be able to
sad.
like, yeah. If you're trying to make the tournament, yeah, you got to like have that ability to finish those games. Like, you got to keep your foot in the gas. We've seen it with Iowa State. We've made the mistake of letting our foot off, and we've let teams back in, and it bit us in the ass. The same applies here. You let your foot off
Yeah,
the gas a little bit, and West Virginia uses it to win in Orlando. So UCF is now middle, like they are 6-6. They're really living up to the middle part of the Middle Florida. 17-7 on the year, so I still think this is still a solid team. This is just bad. This is a bad stretch right now for them.
yep.
Well, they have a chance to ride it a little bit when they host TCU. So both of those teams are going to be playing desperate basketball. So that could be a kind of one of those like sleeper games that are really entertaining. You know, a game that was like, you ever have those times where you just like question like what happened? That is how I
Yes.
can describe Kansas State, Houston. There was so much of this game. I had a question. I had more questions about this game than I had answers. Number one, what happened to the players' last names on the jerseys for Kansas State? Number two, how did Kansas State even get out to a lead? They got out to a 9-point lead like 10 minutes through this game. And then number three, just, huh? I had no clue. I was like, what? Did anything happen at the press conference? Is Jerome Tang now? That was my third question. So
So apparently they didn't wear the names on their jerseys because um, Tang said they didn't uh, deserve to wear their names on the jerseys. I guess.
where was this 2 months ago?
I know, right?
Where was this sooner? What do we do? What? Yeah. So mentioning like that, like this is like kind of what we talked about. I think what some people talked about when it comes to Houston, they're vulnerable. The first 10 minutes of this game, where Kansas State was up 9, that is where I think some teams could potentially pick up on. Is like if you get Houston into a scoring drought and you're able to pound them, you just keep on pounding, build up points on them, you can win against Houston. In
Oh
Kansas
yeah.
State, I mean Kansas State, they did that, but I had no doubts that Houston would eventually find a way. Houston's too talented to lose this type of game. I know I said this about Iowa State, but Houston's just on a different. They're on a different tier. I have Iowa State just
I agree.
right below them because Houston wins this game. Iowa State wins it probably like by a lesser margin, or even loses it. We've seen it before, but this was overall just a weird thing. Um, I so with Kansas State, I need to just real quick give a shout out to Bigger Than 12, Jake Bren, great friend of us, and Derek Duke. Take a look at this beautiful picture right here from their show Bigger Than 12. I take pride in being the one that named this. I'm so glad I got to name this because I just like remember watching another content creator for the NFL, Urinage Reed. He had this running show of Days of Our Steelers. Just days. I didn't get to watch the segment yet, but I need to watch this. But I also love the fact that Derek has the paper bag too. Dude, everything is just going like I don't even know what more to say about the carcass that is Kansas State. Like what?
I don't even know what to say. I mean, because that buyout is already expensive enough.
Dude, but even if you wait till April, it's gonna only drop $2 million. Really,
Rough times in Manhattan right now.
rough times in Manhattan, but I'm low key. I'm glad this is happening because this is
Oh,
what
I'm
you get.
here for the downfall of
This is
K-State
what you get
basketball.
for alleging that we were filming huddles, given the Connor Stallions thing. You alleged that we were filming that. Meanwhile, you got on like. Meanwhile, TJ, we know the character of TJ. He's not the kind of guy to do that crap. If he had to do that kind of crap, he needed to be fired yesterday.
Right.
And to allege that, and then make that a big deal, and TJ's like, "What are you even talking about?" And then like 3 days later, when we had the Kansas game, like you could tell TJ was pissed of having to talk about that. And then you had the letter from like what they mentioned, like they were talking about on CBS, when Jamie Pollard sent that kind of letter or like that statement about this whole cheating allegation. I mean, ever since that happened for Jerome Tang, it's been ridiculous. But we were saying this. I was saying this too. But this is probably the worst week of PR anyone could have as a basketball coach.
Yeah.
Like you talk like about like the players' jersey, whatever. Like practice at 6 a.m. and then you go out and you get like, well, I mean, you at least kept it competitive against Houston relatively, but still, you lose by 14 in that game. This is just the PR nightmare. This has to have been for like his PR team, whoever it is. But I also gotta say this: he needs to hire a better PR team.
Agreed.
Dear God, what a ridiculous this whole thing is ridiculous. But enough about Jerome Tang. That's past. Enough about the Big 12. The national slate. I mean, there was some man, the national slate. There were some solid games. There were some solid games on this national slate. Number 2, Michigan. We were up 2 at halftime against UCLA, but they held UCLA to 18 points in the second half as they go on to win 86-56. They score 46 in the second half. Yaxel Lenenborg, 17 points, 8 rebounds, so he continues to impress. And Michigan, I'm going to presume they are still only have 1 loss in the year. I presume they're still a top 5 team. And I mean, Yaxel Lenenborg, 17 points, 8 rebounds. Morris Johnson Jr. with 15 points. Mari Burnett with 12, and then LJ Kaysen off the bench with 13. So the Big Ten, right now, I think continues to just be in Michigan's hand. So looking at them, as long as they take care of business, they're going to just be locked in as a 1 seed. I believe so. And this is going to be a pretty big week for them as they got to go to Mackey Arena, take on Purdue, and then they get Duke in another non-con game on the 21st.
Man, that game in DC is gonna be awesome.
Speaking of Duke, they had a pretty this was a pretty decent appetizer for the day. Number 4 Duke and number 20 Clemson. Duke wins that game 67-54. Cam Boozer with 18 points and 8 rebounds. So Duke is able to firmly establish himself as the number 1 team in the ACC. So if there were any doubts before, somehow if you were delusional enough to believe that, they just stamped out Clemson. They just took care of business on them. So Duke is continuing to lock up a 1 seed in March. UConn is looking to do the same. They had to eke out a game against Georgetown, 79-75. And I mean, yeah, UConn. I don't know. Like, this isn't the same UConn as 2 years ago, but I mean, it's still Dan Hurley, and as long as they keep winning, I'm not gonna have too much worries about them. So they're looking to get a number one seed. Someone who Iowa State is competing for a 2 seed, Nebraska. They were able to use a big second half to win against Northwestern, 68-49. Nebraska only led that game by 1 at halftime. Price Sanford, the former Iowa Hawkeye, 29 points and 6 rebounds. So I wonder how Iowa fans feel about that.
They're probably sick to their stomachs right now.
Yeah. We'll get to their game in a little bit. North Carolina wins 79-65 against Pitt, so they rebound from a loss to Miami. Gonzaga, they're trying desperately to rebound from what happened Portland as they took care of Santa Clara and firmly grabbed first place in the West Coast, 94-86. Purdue walks into Carver Hawkeye and absolutely dog walks Iowa, 78-57. Man,
you love to see it.
Dude, nothing will ever what's crazy is Iowa competed better in Mackey Arena in this game. Nobody outside of Benner Sturts cracked double-digit points.
Man,
Dude, it was bad. That thing was bad. They had a hangover from losing to Maryland. I want to laugh more at this, but it's why? Why?
right.
Well, I mean, if you want to take this game away, Florida, Kentucky, take it away for this game.
All right. Yes, Florida. The score started deceiving because Florida kept Kentucky in the game the entire game, but Florida pulls away and wins 92-83. Xavier Lee leads the way with 22 points for the Gators. And Florida right now is rounding into form. Florida is a game ahead, I believe, of Texas Tech and not Texas Tech, Texas A&M in the standings for first place in the SEC. They had a very, very tough non-con schedule. Alex Condon with 14 points and 2 assists. Thomas Hall with 17 points and 8 rebounds, and Ruben Chinyelu with 10 and 11. So I do think that, like I said before, Florida right now is in a time where Miami is still trying to find themselves and still be good and see what their identity is, because Miami's also has a ridiculous season. But Florida, I think they're priming into form and getting ready to make another deep run in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Real quick, Virginia holds on to beat Ohio State 70-66 in Nashville. Texas A&M, they are not second place in the SEC. That would be
It's Arkansas. Yeah, you're right, my man.
And Texas A&M, they just lost. They are on a 4-game losing streak. They just lost at Vanderbilt 82-69. So
wow,
not done themselves any favors in the SEC.
They've fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, Arkansas 88-75 win over Auburn. And then St. John's Providence 79-69. But that was not the story of that game, because man, oh man, this whole the St. John's Providence, this thing literally, we talk about T.J. Ottsberg turning
From the Red Storm.
Training. This whole sequence right here. So it starts with that foul on Bryce Hawkins by Powell, and then it all hell broke loose in this. This
Man.
was a UFC fight night. And I think one of my friends pointed this out. I think Powell will literally he finds a new player to try to square up to. I think I saw the image of him. I think he was trying to square up with Rick Pitino at one point. And you see the petrified face of Rick Pitino. He realized he's too old to take that shit. But this whole thing was chaotic.
Yes, it was.
But randomly we got Powell. I gotta go back. This, I think I paused this at a perfect time. I talked about this on Twitter a little bit. I made a tweet. We need to talk about this hair. What the hell is this? What is this?
Yeah. Dude, I don't even know what that is. That is hideous. That's what that is.
So allegedly, it has something to do with him being from Texas. But I think but people in the replies that come from Texas said we have never seen any of this.
So somebody's lying.
Yeah. So either he's lying or they're lying. But either way, get your bar. You need to find a new barber or something because what the
Come
heck
get your
is
boy. Come get your boy, man. That is hideous.
I, who in their right mind makes the conscious choice to have like this? This looked like somebody forgot to like do like a buzz cut, but you're like, no, we clip everything like below this ear line. Like, why? And apparently, I saw another photo like this top part that looked like it was buzzed. It's apparently blonde. But like, I'm sorry, how can I tell that on the broadcast when it looks more like you just had a bad day at the barbershop? Or no, you it's like you lost a forfeit in fantasy football and you were forced to get that haircut. Okay, I have the like. So this is the photo like of like it being in a like better like a better like resolution. But still, this does not help. But look at this. It almost looks like he's trying to do a like a crippling crossface or something like the Iron Sheik would do. Older wrestling fans would understand the Iron Sheik reference, but just the ridiculousness of this, and I don't. This was, yep. And I think it might be an appropriate time to end there because there's a lot more basketball ahead. So and I'm ready for Big Monday. Honestly, what about you?
Yeah, I'm ready for this basketball week. Lastly, we are going to do our last segment of the day, the weekly Big 12 top five. Cody, you start with your top five, and then I'll end with mine.
Yeah, so I mean after this weekend of action, just it's hard for me to like say like for sure. Like the number I think the number one would have to be Houston.
Yeah.
Obviously they benefit from those two losses that Arizona had back to back. Number two, I would still put Arizona. I would put Arizona. Arizona, I think they're fine. They'll be okay. They're 23-2. They get an opportunity to rebound a little bit, so that's still a really good team. And also, I factor in the Cole Pete injury. I really think that Arizona would have perhaps like played better and perhaps put the game away had they had Cole Pete in the second half. Number three, I'm gonna go Texas Tech just because like, they were able to walk in the McHale Center. Like that's no doubtly one of the best wins on the year. Number four would be Iowa State beating Kansas the way they did. And for me,
Mm-hmm.
Kansas is my number five. But yeah, overall, that impressive win by Texas Tech, that's going to be the main thing for me is like that just how like being able to win in McHale. And I don't think enough people talk about like their resume enough because they have wins against Duke,
Mm-hmm.
Houston, and Arizona, who are all top five, like who are top five caliber teams. So no, like that's a slept on resume. Like I don't think enough people are like talk about that, and part of it's probably because the losses they took, but still,
Mm-hmm.
that is an impressive resume to have if you're Texas Tech.
Yeah. Yeah, mine is gonna be just about the same. I think I have Houston at number one, Arizona number two. I am actually gonna be different. Actually, it's not gonna be the same. I have Iowa State at number three, Kansas at number four, and Texas Tech at number five.
Interesting. Okay, I could probably see that because like I mean, yeah, Iowa State not like yeah they won that game. Kansas like they walked in the hills, and so I can understand. But yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. We today that's where we're going to end things. Thank you guys for listening to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. A few things before we go. Want to give it the big thanks to FanDuel. FanDuel is the presenting sponsor of the Believe in Iowa State podcast. Thank you for sponsoring us. If you want to follow us on social media, here are our six forms of social media: Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch. Twitch is Believe in ISU 2025. If you need to get a hold of us, I can be found on Twitter at SciTi Guy. My name is Tyler, and for Cody, he can be found on Twitter at Tierney's Burner.
Yeah, I had a bit of a change in my profile picture. It's obviously the gold out, and I know you changed your profile picture too. So if you're going to the game tomorrow against Houston, it's a gold out. Wear your gold gear. I think there's some solid gear, and I know Home Field Apparel with Ryan Hammer is doing like some stuff for the game, so get some stuff from them, possibly. So, yeah,
All right, now, uh, with that, we thank you guys for tuning in, and we will be back for you guys on Wednesday with a full preview on BYU. So, signing off for Tyler Carter,
and for Cody Van Salem,
this is the Believe in Iowa State podcast. Roll clones, baby.
go Cyclones.
Bye.